So you said that when my work or our work, because we should talk about the fact that it's Diller, Scofidio, Renfro,
Yes.
so partners. It's a revolutionary partnership that spans art to architecture. But I would also add to that citizenship, because so much of what you do is about partaking, about how people partake. And citizenship in the terms, in my vernacular, means partaking, having the right to partake in something, having the opportunity, and giving that focus. And it seems to me that that's a huge part of what you do, as opposed to just get an idea and make something. And can you comment a little about, how that relates to, let's say, in the High Line, you discovered what's there, and
Right.
you capitalize on it. Or Lincoln Center, you look at it probably for a long time and try and imagine what's there. Is there polling in a sense that goes on? Or is it internal? I mean, you go to people and
I think I have, just to go back to our roots, which are more independent artwork that was very much self-generated. We found sites. We went for funding. Everything was really independent and autonomous. It really defined being the kind of outside dissidents.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we started to kind of make a change, it was at a moment that I think there were many great things that kind of conspired to the outcome. And part of that was that we were very open. A lot of people in our generation were starting to become leaders of institutions, and we started to think about, well, if we're invited to the ICA, for example, to be the architects, we can't exactly lob grenades at the institution, the museum institution. The same thing. The Bloomberg administration was really starting to think about the city and public space, and was very much civically oriented. At that point, when we were asked to look at Lincoln Center, at the very beginning, we thought, this is really crazy. We're probably not the right people here, because there's so much. There's so many meetings. There are so many people to convince. There's so much consensus building. How could we possibly do it? Frank Gehry was there just before us, and he did not have a successful project. And he said to us, stay away from Lincoln Center. Don't get anywhere near there. They're evil. They're everything. Efforts will collapse. And I think we thought of that as a kind of great challenge. And so we went in, and had we known what that would have been like, we would have. We only succeeded because we were naive. So. And because of that, we were optimistic, and we put ideas out, and we shared those ideas, and it was very, very, very hard work. And in the end, that catchphrase when you this is like 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. We're complaining about just that, and then we realized that 99% was just as creative as the 1%, and that was like a total paradigm shift for us. That. Being involved, kind of putting yourself in the center of the discussion, working with various constituencies, trying to understand other points of view, stepping into other shoes, and if you have an idea, not compromising it, but being able to explain it in different ways, it really changed the way we work. And the High Line was pretty much parallel to that, but there was no institution of the High Line. There were a couple of young guys citizen activists that also happened to coincide with a great administration, the mayoral administration, and there was an effort to save the High Line after it was slated for demolition with the Giuliani administration. And I would just, fast forward to the present, where we were very much inspired by the notion of being citizen activists, and we put forward the idea of the culture shed to the city, and then it took, and we're actively working on that now with a great group of collaborators. So we started off by being totally against the system, and then we stepped into it, and then we realized that we had more agency than we thought we did, and so part of that really just comes from the heart. We live in New York. We wanted to see great things happen in New York, and all the stars were in alignment. And when we go to other parts of the world, and we are building in different parts of the world, We also see that it's a different kind of investment, and architects typically receive programs. Architects typically don't put things on the table, and we like to think of ourselves as in a more leadership kind of position where we could put things on the table, try to test them, and see if we can realize things that have not been conceived before.